Hey, Dr. Echo Rivera here. So we have all seen this type of slide. We have all presented on this type of slide before, but in this video, I want to show you a better way. I'm going to show you 5 ways to visualize those bullet points and turn them into something truly engaging and powerful. So stay tuned if you want to see these 5 ways to visualize your bullet points. Because, it's not a secret that slides like these are death by PowerPoint, okay? We really, really need to stop presenting like this in our classes, in our lectures, in our conference presentations, in our workshops, our job talks, whatever. We need to stop doing this. No one really learns from this, and it's definitely not going to get anyone to care about the material on the slide. So I'm going to show you a makeover for every single one of these boring bullet points, starting with this first one here. So it says, carbon dioxide has increased 40% since the pre-industrial periods. Okay. Did you feel anything when I read that? Did that make an impact with you? Or did it just feel like a boring sentence on a list of other boring sentences? Okay. If I were in the audience, I would say that felt like a boring sentence. So what if instead this little factoid was shared on a slide like this? Okay, what do you think? Now, if I said there's a 40% increase in carbon dioxide since the pre-industrial period, now with this design and this image, this feels serious, doesn't it? We have a powerful image, which by the way, didn't cost me anything. It was legally free. And that text is easy to read. This is obviously more memorable than a bullet point. I mean, look at this before and after. If you like this version better, give me a thumbs up. And by the way, this took me like a minute. It is not complicated, and I have a whole video about creating a visual database, so watch that video if you want to learn more about that. But yeah, it is not complicated. People are always telling me that it takes too long to create engaging slides, but it's not true. It's only true if you don't really know what you're doing and don't have a strategy. It takes a long time if you haven't had training on how to think of slides like this and create them in a really fast way. Moving on, we're back to this version which buries the stat in an unengaging, boring wall of text slide. But now let's do this bland bullet point. Forest degradation contributes up to 20% of global carbon emissions. Once again, okay, fine, great. Just another number thrown on the slide. We need to make this stand out a little more. How about an icon array? Now, when I say forest degradation contributes up to 20% of global carbon emissions, now it feels like it matters, doesn't it? This is no longer a throwaway statistic. There are 100 of those little tree icons, and 20% are colored in to demonstrate visually the percentage that I'm talking about. I went with green because we naturally associate that color with forest. And really, that's kind of it. It's so easy. I did this entirely in PowerPoint, no Excel or even Tableau needed. This entire slide took me like 5 minutes because I did have to create the icon array from scratch, but still, it's not like it took me forever. And that time is totally worth it, don't you think? Compare the before and after here. If you think that this looks better than the original, hit that like button. And creating an icon array is actually really easy. If you've watched this video about my favorite PowerPoint features, then you've already learned about icons and the arrange tool in PowerPoint, which is pretty much what you need to create an icon array. That's it. Again, everything was done in PowerPoint. So watch that video if you haven't yet. But we have more makeovers to do before you hop over to that video. Okay, we're back to this slide, which feels like torture now. Okay. All right, now we need to talk about how oceans are 30% more acidic than they were in pre-industrial periods. Bleak bullet point that is not going to be memorable in any way. Instead, let's do a waffle chart, which is the same idea as an icon array, but instead of icons, you use squares. Same pattern here. And now when I say oceans are 30% more acidic than they were in pre-industrial periods, again, Do you see how this is going to make much more of an impact compared to the original? And this slide only took a couple minutes. It took less time than the icon array because I already have a waffle chart that I've made, and I do copy and paste over and over again so I can reuse it after I've made it. That's why I love waffle charts. They're one of my favorites. So what about you though? Do you like it too? If so, you know what to do. Hit that like button. And seriously, these are awesome things that you can do in your next presentation. But if you're thinking that you don't have time to create these, or you're still not sure how to create that icon array or that waffle chart, no worries. I have made templates for you to download so that you can use and edit and copy and paste, and it has instructions and all kinds of good stuff. I'll talk about that at the end of the video. But let's continue our makeover party. Are you hating this slide as much as I am right now? I dread seeing it, and I'm the one who made it. So, okay, focus. All right. So here we've got 77% of adults in the United States agree that alternative energy sources should be a priority. Okay. I feel like that's supposed to be a pretty big deal, but it does not feel that way, right? Not when it's just buried here. So here's how I remade this one. All right, for this one, this is called a donut chart, which is basically a pie chart that looks fancy. Okay, it's like a spruced up pie chart basically. So now when you say 70% of adults in the United States agree that alternative energy should be a priority, that kind of rhymed, didn't it? So there you go. There's that. But focus on the donut chart here. Doesn't it seem like it's something worth paying attention to now? And just in case it isn't clear, I could have done a waffle chart. I could have done an icon array. Oh my gosh. Imagine like an icon array with little solar panels. Oh, that would just be so cool. Or windmill. Oh my gosh. Okay, that would be really cool. Okay. All right. Or I could have done a stock photo. Basically you could do any of these for any of the stats. All right. I hope you're seeing that you have options here. You can mix things up. You can make it more interesting, easier to remember, and more memorable. Okay. The whole point is just don't have a list of bullet points. Do any of these instead and get creative and have fun. I mean, look, I seriously just got geeked at the idea of a windmill icon array. Like, I want that for you. Be excited about your own slides and your own data. You probably don't feel excited about your data if it's presented like this, right? So let's make it more exciting for both you and your audience. If you like the original, then get extra saucy and maybe hit that subscribe button now. Yeah. Okay, 2 more to go. You may be wondering, what other tricks does Echo have up her sleeve? I'm so glad you asked because I will show you. Okay, so 20 fossil fuel industries are responsible for 35% of global carbon dioxide and methane since 1965. Okay, whatever, right? It's just another stat in a long list of stats. And side note, so I do have links to where I got these stats from. They're in the description below. I did do research for this video, but I am not a climate scientist. My PhD is in psychology, so I do apologize if these are outdated stats. Don't quote me on these. My purpose is to show you data viz makeovers, but yeah, I do have the links below if you want to check them out. Okay, moving on. So I went all out for this one. Here's what I would do. So I would say only 20 fossil fuel companies are responsible for 35% of global carbon dioxide and methane since 1965. Oh, right? I mean, did you feel how much more important that is with this slide? Not to mention visually, there's just more to help you understand that information. So yeah, what do you think of this one? So this obviously involves some animation and more timing. So it took a little longer than others, but still only took like 5 minutes. Okay. These are not taking forever. And those animations, that is something I would have practiced already to make sure I have the timing, and you can learn more about how I practice my presentations, especially those animations, in this video here. Okay, before I do the last one, I also want to mention this is something a lot of people don't think about. Here's a way to use your slides other than just a presentation. So imagine you have this great slide with really good data viz. Well, you can export those as images and use them in other ways. You can share them on social media. You can post them on your website. I mean, this is a shareable graphic now. It would catch people's attention. You can use it to get people to visit your website or to invite them to your upcoming conference presentation or to promote that manuscript you finally got published. Okay, there are multiple benefits to creating slides that look like this compared to this. Okay, the standard academic delivery. I mean, imagine, right? Imagine you export this as an image and you share this on social media and you're like, hey, come to my webinar because this is the type of slides you will see. I mean, are people going to be excited? No. Okay. They're going to be like, yeah, thanks. I will pass. But if you share slides like this and say, hey, come to my webinar, I mean, now you've got people's attention. Now they're interested. Now they're engaged before they even watch your webinar. It gets people to pay attention, understand, and remember your material. Okay, last example. So this one isn't a percentage, it's just numbers. So let me show you how to do that. It's actually going to be almost identical to the last one. So I would say 5 oil and gas companies spend nearly $200 million every single year on lobbying to delay, control, or block policies that combat climate change. Okay, so I just wanted to show you. First, it doesn't need to be a percentage for you to add this kind of design to your bullet point. And here's the real point. I kind of used this model, this format in the last one. So all I did was duplicate that slide and change up a few things. So I used copy and paste to speed things up. This did not take a lot of time because I was smart and I used that copy and paste strategy. So that will save you time. So yeah, here is the before and after. Let me know in the comments what you think. So there you go. Hopefully this video is proof that you should not have slides that look like this, whether it's in your introduction, whether it's in your results. Hopefully you see how it could be if you had slides that look like this instead. It doesn't take a lot of time, but look at the impact these could have instead of that original. What do you think? Would you rather see the original or the new versions? Comment below. And I really want to emphasize that this is all easy peasy lemon squeezy kind of stuff. They took me just a few minutes each to create. And again, I used copy and paste whenever I could. And it's all worth the effort because then I can even start using it for other things too, like social media and my website. These are all something you can do in your next presentation. And if you're still not sure how to create things like icon arrays and waffle charts, obviously I recommend that you look into Blast Off to Stellar Slides, which is my online course, or one of my other training options. Links are in the description below. I'm not a YouTuber, believe it or not. This is actually more what I do. I train people through workshops and online courses on presenting information and data. But I've also made templates that you can purchase right now, and they are super affordable. You will get a waffle chart that you can copy and paste and edit for your own slides, and it has written instructions plus a video where I show you how to do it. Same thing for the icon array. If you need one with trees, it's already done. You can copy, paste, and edit, but I also include written and video instructions for how to create an icon array. And once you kind of get the hang of it, it tends to be pretty fast. Okay. So, as always, I like to remind folks that I have a free online course about how to create engaging presentations because it is more than just great data viz. Like data viz is part of it, but there's a lot more to it. So if you're ready to get serious about how to do that, then check out that free course. And just like my YouTube videos, that course and everything I do is made specifically for academic scientists, researchers, and evaluators. As usual, thank you so much for watching. If you were inspired and have new ideas to present your data, give this video a thumbs up, share it with others who would be interested, and please leave a comment below. I love your comments. Make sure to subscribe. I do have a new video every single week, and links to everything I've talked about are below. So yeah, I'm Dr. Echo. Thank you so much for helping me end death by PowerPoint. I'll see you next week. Bye.